Hello and welcome to RT Magazine, a show about Middletown High School, its students, and the community. News about you and for you. I'm Josh Hauser. As we start the new school year, we are working hard on covering this year's people and events in the community. But for the first few weeks, we'll be bringing you some of last year's interesting stories and features that you might have missed or would just love to see again. Welcome back and thanks for watching. This week, Samantha Molter tells us about a children's book that Mr. Phelan wrote. Mr. Lynott answers some questions. Kaylee Franklin points out a fashion trend that is popular among students. This week's show is brought to you by
Middletown High School math teacher Mr. Phelan recently wrote a children's book. I took a deeper look into what M is for Money is about, what went into it, and also received input from a teacher and a student who work closely with children.
I'm feeling excited about our first segment. Samantha Molter tells us about Mr. Phelan's children's book, M is for Money. That sounds like advice for anyone, not just children.
Middletown High School math teacher Mr. Phelan recently wrote a children's book. I took a deeper look into what M is for Money is about, what went into it, and also received input from a teacher and a student who work closely with children and have incorporated M is for Money into the classroom.
So I'm a math teacher and I teach contemporary math, geometry, and Algebra 1 mostly. M is for Money is the name of my kids book. I have another one called The Simple Startup, but the kids book is the one that just came out this past November. And it's an ABCs of Money book that helps 3 to 8-year-olds learn about money and also normalizes conversations about money at home or in school or between friends, because money is one of those things that we just don't feel very comfortable talking about as a society.
I teach Child Development 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the Independent Living class for financial literacy. Mr. Phelan had talked to me in the beginning of the school year and shared with me that he had written this book, and I had told him sometime this school year I'd like to have him come to the classroom and read the book himself to the children.
Mr. Phelan explains his passion for finance and his hopes to incorporate an understanding of finance into children's lives.
I've been into personal finance now for about 6 years. I've learned a lot about it and how to manage money, and it's helped me get on a path towards financial independence, and I love sharing that information with others. When my 2.5-year-old was born, I wanted to find books that could help him to learn about money from a young age, and there was nothing there. There was very little that addressed like that 3-year-old range, which is when kids can actually start really learning about money. So I was like, okay, I'm going to solve this problem, and I'm going to create a resource that parents, teachers can use to help kids learn about money. So you have the ABCs part, so the book is multiple levels. That's how it goes for 3 to 8-year-olds. So at the first level, you just have letter recognition, learning new words. Then there's definitions about what these money words actually mean, and there's also a mini story that brings the word in and shows it in a positive light. The benefits that I really think come out of this are kids learning to just talk about money, having a positive relationship with money, and seeing characters in the book that are doing positive things with money. There's over 60 unique characters in the book that have different visual appearances, different abilities, different family structures, and my goal was for every kid to be able to find themselves in the book in at least one character and say, okay, I can see someone who looks like me or who I identify with that's doing well with money.
Miss Martin and Hannah Doxson share how they feel M is for Money benefits kids.
I think the benefits is to learn how to start saving money and not spending it all at once from like an early age.
M for Money is a really good book for kids because it is put together in cartoons and it's simple words that the children can follow along.
Mr. Phelan talks about his experience in writing M is for Money.
So there's 2 target audiences when you do something like this. You have the kids themselves who are going to read the book, and then you have the adult who's going to buy it. So 3 to 8-year-olds is who's going to be the readers, but in terms of who's going to buy it, it's probably parents, it's probably grandparents, teachers, aunts, uncles, anyone who wants to give a gift to a young child, or maybe who's into money themselves or has learned about money and they want to help other kids learn about it too. I started coming up with the idea in probably January of 2021, and by April the book was written. First drafts had been edited and the text was finalized. Then it went to the illustrator, spent about 2 months with the illustrator, and then I ran a Kickstarter over the summer, which is where you crowdfund the books. You ask people to pledge money in advance to make the book come to life kind of thing without having to put your own money in. So I raised about $14,000 doing that, and then I was able to send the book to print, and by November it was publicly available. So from January to November was the lifespan of bringing this book to life.
Okay.
Solid B student in English and had to work really hard for that B, and I typically avoided the creative writing pieces whenever I had choice. So when I finished high school English, I was like, great, I'm done with that, never touching this again. And it's so funny how things work out, because now I freelance write for different online blogs, and then I also have produced 2 books, which did not see coming.
Miss Martin and Hannah share whether or not they think MS for Money is a good tool for young students.
Yes, I recommend this book to parents. I think it's really important to start at an early age. The whole idea of children getting to know what money is, knowing what a coin is, the different coins and the dollar bills, and how it is spent.
I think it teaches them about money, and it's really important at like a young age to start learning about it.
They also share how they personally enjoyed the book and how the Middletown Knee-High Knights enjoyed the book as well.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I liked the pictures a lot too.
Yes, I did like the book, and I bought some for my grandchildren.
I think they really liked it. I think they really liked Stash the Squirrel, like the mascot, a lot.
Mr. Phelan shares where students can find his book and access more financial resources.
So you can find the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, bookshop.org. You can go to msformoneybook.com and find it from there, or you can come see me, and I've got tons of copies, and I would love to get one for you. So the book is one resource of many that I try and create. I love creating different things to help kids learn about money, so definitely check out msformoneybook.com to see some of the free resources I put out there. And also follow on Instagram at msformoneybook, or Twitter, if that's where you like to go, at FIEducator. And I'm basically just putting out information all the time about how to do better with money for parents and for kids/teens as well.
We're back, and we've got Kevin Lynott, Middletown's new athletic director, live in the studio for a fast-paced round of questions in our segment 10 for 1. That is 10 questions for one person. What is your favorite color?
Orange and black.
Of course. What was your favorite subject in school?
History. Absolutely love learning about all the leaders, and I could go on about, but I loved history.
What is the most favorite part of your job as athletic director?
I tell you, the coolest part is watching people develop and compete. I'm really, really looking forward to that, and yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. What's the most important thing in your life?
That's the easiest question. My faith and family.
If you could meet one person, living or dead, who would that be?
Believe it or not, Marcus Aurelius. And Marcus Aurelius was one of the greatest Roman emperors and a very great Stoic philosopher.
Very cool. Who influenced you as a coach?
Coach Dabo Sweeney. I met him 12 years ago. We've kept in contact. We had a player go there, and he's so enthusiastic and positive. I love him.
What's the biggest misconception of high school sports?
I think that you got to specialize in sports, and you got to have all this experience. You can come out and play high school sports, have no experience. And there's so many activities that you could do, like band, drama, arts. So, yeah.
Did you ever get cut from a team?
I did get cut. It was from basketball, but I look back upon it, it was hard, it was tough, but then it led me into another thing, which was wrestling, and so many other things. So actually it turned into a positive.
That's really great. If you could meet one more person, living or dead, who would that be?
Wow. I would say Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, because if you've ever seen how many defeats that president, that man went through, and then he becomes president and unites the country, I love it.
That's awesome. What movie could you never get tired of watching?
Rocky. And I like all the ones, Rocky 1, 2, and 3. But in Rocky 1, he loses, but he tries his best and he becomes the best he can be. So I love Rocky.
All right. Next up, Kaylee Franklin shares with us the nails of Middletown High School.
Students at MHS love to get their nails done, whether it's for special occasion, prom, or everyday use. Let's take a look at some of the nails girls have here at Middletown High School.
Our first question we will ask people is, where do they get their nails done?
My favorite place to get my nails done is TT&K.
I usually go to TT&K because it's local.
I normally go to TT&K or Harmony.
My favorite place to get my nails done is 2000 Nails.
Some girls get their nails done often and others just for special occasion. Let's see what our Middletown students do.
I usually only get them done for special occasions. I only ever get my nails done for special occasions like a wedding or prom or homecoming.
Usually special occasions because they break.
Most of the time just special occasions.
Now let's take a look at what kind of nails they get.
I get acrylic on my nails. I usually do the dip and add like tips unless I'm in season for sports.
I normally get dip on my nails.
I get acrylic.
Just plain colors.
What is plain colors? I usually get designs because I like having design nails. I always get a design.
Anywhere between like 65 and 80.
Usually like $50 to $60.
Maybe like $60. Between $60 to $70 usually.
See what the girls think it's harder to do with nails.
It's harder to tie my shoes or do my hair.
Typing is harder and playing volleyball.
When I play sports, it does, depending on how long they are.
Probably short nails. I don't like long nails because they're harder to do stuff with.
I like them in the middle.
I prefer short nails because I feel like sometimes they get in the way for like sports.
I prefer shorter nails just because it's easier to do things and then I can play like lacrosse with them and not worry about them breaking.
That's all for the Middletown girls that tell us about their nails period. I hope you learned what nails are like here at Middletown High School.
That's it for this episode of RT Magazine, part of the Roundtable's multimedia experience. Thanks for watching. You can find all our episodes on mhsroundtable.com, or you can download our app, Student News Source, for access to our articles, videos, and podcasts. Have a great week.